Okay, and that live meeting is up. And so I'll go ahead and pull up the agenda here. Should be a fairly quick StudEx meeting today. We don't have a lot to go over in terms of like legislation and stuff. Okay, can everyone see the agenda here? Okay, yeah. So real quick, just to let all of our online viewers know, we're going to be doing officer reports in a written format this week, just due to a shortage of time we have for the StudEx meeting this time around. And with that, we'll just go ahead and move into our regular agenda here to review and vote on the Students' Assembly agenda. So, and that here. All right, so as of right now, this is what the agenda for the Students' Assembly meeting on the 26th will look like. It'll be a meeting that's held virtually. Have a call to order, approval of the minutes. I'll be delivering the officer report in Naya's place during this meeting. And we have two pieces of legislation. One, the bill to fund the Elections Commission for 2022. And then the next one, a bill to remove block line and EOF hearings. And then our part of C and D for the regular agenda is going to be electing a replacement representative to the University Senate, and then electing a replacement representative to StudEx following that election. And so that in general is what the session is going to look like. I do need a formal motion to officially introduce the bill 2022-40 into the regular agenda. That is because it was brought through committee of the whole to the Rights Council and the Finance Council. So this is really more of a formality. Do I have a motion on the floor to have that added to the agenda?
Motion.
All right, I see a motion from Holly. Do I have a second? I see a second from Naya here. All right. And with that, are there any objections on the floor to allowing this bill to be placed onto the Students' Assembly agenda? All right, seeing none, I'll go ahead and say that that motion passes with acclamation. All right, and next here, I'm now looking for a motion to approve this agenda for the Students' Assembly meeting.
So moved.
All right, I see a motion from Emma. Do I have a second? All right, I see a second from Naya. And yeah, if you approve this Senate agenda here, go ahead and type I in the chat. If you don't approve, please type nay. And if you'd like to abstain, please type abstain. All right. And with 6 votes in the affirmative, none in the negative, this motion clearly passes. Oh, 7 votes in the affirmative with Wesley's addition there. I would say this motion clearly passes, and we will go ahead and forward this agenda for the Students' Assembly meeting on the 26th. With that, the next item of business is to decide the time of StudEx. I don't know if all of you received the email that I sent out a few days ago. It has a when to meet poll that is due on the 28th of January here, this next Friday, or this Friday rather. If all StudEx members could fill out that when to meet, that is going to be what I'm using to schedule the next StudEx meeting. Because generally we do have some members who aren't able to make it during this time, and it's also a rather constrained time for the StudEx meeting to occur. And so we are looking for a different time, and if we cannot find one, we'll plan to keep this one, but other than that, we're just, trying to make sure we can accommodate all of the schedules of the members of StudEx. Are there any questions or concerns? All right, seeing none, I'll just expect to have everyone fill out that when to meet by the 28th here so we can schedule the Cycle 9 StudEx off of that information. And with that, there's nothing else here on the agenda. Oh, Naya, did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to, like, I know we put it on this agenda, but just for like clarity, moving forward, Ethan will be giving the officer report at full Senate instead of myself, because my capstone class falls on Wednesdays until 7, and there's no other time. So, yeah, but I'll be in Senate after that class is done. So obviously, if y'all have any questions or anyone else has any questions, y'all can come to me. If not, cool.
Brilliant. All right, and Hamad has motioned to go into executive session to discuss an urgent matter, and Mary has seconded this motion. Oh, Mary, you are not a voting member of StudEx, so I will need another second from this. All right, Naya seconded and Daphne seconded. All right, there we go. All right, so now with 2 seconds there, is there any objection for StudEx to move into executive session to discuss this matter? All right, seeing none, I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen to the Zoom. This will go ahead and end that portion of it for the YouTube viewers until we reconvene for the end of the meeting here. All right, we are now live on YouTube here again. So yeah, next we have announcements. Does anyone else have any other announcements to make in regards to things that are happening on campus? All right. Aside from that, I do sort of want to get a poll of my own before we exit this meeting in regards to just sort of everything that's going on with the pandemic currently on just sort of everyone's comfortability for cycle 9, because I'm going to be, and I put this in my officer report, I'm going to be deciding whether or not we will stay completely virtual for cycle 9 or moving towards a hybrid option for cycle 9. And so I just sort of wanted to grab members' opinions as to what they would like to do in meetings. Holly, I see your hand was first, and then Wesley.
Yeah, so I personally think we should stay online, and I'm saying this as somebody that currently has COVID-19, and I honestly have no idea where I got it, and I am perfectly fine, which is really great, but that's because I'm triple vaccinated, and we can't ask people in Senate whether they're vaccinated or not, and I would hate to be the one that gets people sick because I have it, I feel fine, I don't know, and then I go to Senate, I take my mask off to have a drink, I get someone sick. So that's my point of view, especially because most of you all have roommates, a lot of you all have family here. I just feel like that's the safest option, as is for us as executive members to regularly test. You can get free tests at Orchard's Drug. You can go online, and from Monday through Friday, you can go like every week if you want and get a free test. And I highly recommend that because this Omicron is crazy. Like, some people are vaccinated and are really sick, and some are like me and just have to isolate at home, but it's better to keep everybody safe than sorry. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Holly. And to answer Naya's question here in the chat, this is specifically discussing the session that's going to take place on the 9th. We are already going to be virtual no matter what for Senate or for the Students Assembly meeting this week. But in regards to like what is happening for both council meetings and the Students Assembly meeting in the next cycle, that is what we're discussing right now. And with that, no, not Holly anymore. Wesley, you are up.
Oh, I was going to say that the Rights and Affairs Council is prepared to go hybrid because last year we sort of had success with allowing people to remote join the council meeting, well then committee, if they didn't want to, if they couldn't show up either for time constraints or due to safety concerns. Also letting other people join in person and sort of allowing people to decide on that. And to prepare for it, I also over break went out and bought like a webcam and a little microphone, so that way people can talk in like a secluded area and whatnot for hybrid sessions. So I think we would be prepared for it, but of course not everyone has to make that like sort of choice.
Yeah. And yeah, I do want to just state that for especially like all of the chairs in this meeting, like if you don't feel comfortable showing up physically, like when we are like in a hybrid session, like that is something that's like totally within your right to like just show up virtually. Like we don't want to like put you in that position because you're like leading the meetings to like have to be in the room. You can sort of like tap in your vice chair or secretary in regards to like leading the meeting if like that's easier for you. Or you could also just host it virtually. It really is, I think, just a question of like personal like safety and security. Mary?
Yeah, I think as long as numbers are increasing the way that they're increasing, we definitely should not be in person. I know at the end of the day, people are going to do whatever they want to do. I just worry that people are going to do whatever they want to do, and ultimately get other people sick, basically. Plus, a lot of us still have to go to classes. I'm sorry about the background noise. But yeah, I think just with us still having to go to in-person classes, it's a unnecessary risk to have us go to these meetings in person, even if there is a hybrid option, you know?
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on whether we stay hybrid or go virtual, or not stay hybrid, we are virtual now, whether we stay virtual or go hybrid for cycle 9? I see a hand up from Hamad and then Holly again.
So this was a fun conversation last school year too, because we were in the pandemic then too. I feel like this is a decision that should be made up to the chairs of those meetings, but StudEx should require like all of the meetings be hybrid, so it's inclusive to whoever wants to do whatever they want. But the reason why I would personally recommend do hybrid is because student senate engagement got really low when it was all online, and people lose, and like it'll go down throughout the semester, and then you lose your student voice within student senate. So that's the main reason why. Now we can also do stuff to make sure there's more spacing in the rooms. We can have one chair per table versus two. We have measures that we can take to make sure it's safe and socially distancing when maybe other spaces around campus that may not be socially distancing. The only reason why you may want to have only virtual option would be when everybody's coming back to campus all at once, and that's happening right now. And after this week, we shouldn't be requiring, like, forcing people to just do virtual, because then we're going to start losing attendance. And we know what happened at the beginning of last semester when, like, we had low quorum, right? And we weren't able to pass some stuff for a whole month.
Very true, Hamad. Holly?
I don't think attendance should be this deciding fact over whether we keep people safe or not. That's just my opinion. And the other thing I was going to mention is we've had a problem with people taking off their masks, people eating dinner with the pizza, and then, that's all risk, right? We have people that show up that aren't wearing correct masks, that are wearing net gaiters and stuff, which technically goes against KU policy. So if we really are going to have hybrid and promise to keep people safe, then we need to reevaluate some of the things we've been letting slide and potentially have a no food and drink unless you exit the room kind of a policy, because that's all risk. That's all a way to potentially transmit the virus. And if people aren't wearing KN95 masks and are wearing cloth masks or net gaiters, like with Omicron, it travels so quickly. I know so many people that have it right now, and I just wouldn't want Student Senate to be the breeding ground for that and us be spreading it when we don't have to, when we can still function in a online manner. So
Thank you, Holly. Camden and then Wesley.
First off, Holly, I would like to say that I completely agree that I don't think we should prioritize attendance over safety. That being said, my personal opinion that if it is deemed safe enough by the university for classes to be in session, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to immediately make that decision for everyone else that, that they're not allowed to come to Student Senate in person. The hybrid option should be there and it should be robust, but it is my view that so long as classes remain in session, Student Senate should at least have an in-person option as well.
Camden, Wesley.
I like Hamad's idea of leaving it up to the chairs, but instead of just the chairs, like the executive committees of each council, having in-person full assembly is probably not the best idea. While since chairs are smaller, since councils are usually smaller, and because we all have the hybrid option anyway for people to join online, I think it would be useful to take that tally and see who is comfortable, who is not, and making those decisions within the councils. while not necessarily forcing a decision on the entirety of the student senate. And yeah, that's that.
Thanks for that, Wesley. I guess one thing I will add there is sort of a question of whatever action we take, whether it be based upon sort of independent chairs and of each of these parts of the legislative branch sort of deciding whether they would feel like having a virtual meeting or a hybrid option there. But there is also a question of whether or not this action should be unilateral, so we don't confuse folks when it comes to these Wednesday night meetings, and then some people will see a committee that is having a hybrid option, but then another one might be virtual. So we might have a little dissonance in how you can get involved in Student Senate on those occasions. That would be my only concern, but I don't think it's prevailing as to just allowing sort of the council chairs to independently decide what works best for their councils, and then looking at the Students' Assembly meeting in that next week. Yeah, this has been a great sounding board in sort of guiding these decisions, I think. Okay. With that, I don't know, does StudEx want to take any official action in regards to what we do for these meetings, or are we going to just be looking at scheduling them independently? Okay. Let's see. Oh, Wesley, did you have something?
I was just going to recommend you force a vote on whether or not councils decide whether or not they meet, or if StudEx decides. And then after that, just force a vote on whether it should be in person or hybrid, because you'll get a decision a lot quicker that way.
Well, the question isn't in person or hybrid, it's virtual or hybrid. Yeah.
I misspoke, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Just having.
Yeah, I agree with Wesley. I think we should just do 2 votes. One for the councils, one for the student assembly.
Okay, so in terms of the council meetings that we're having, I guess, yeah, we'll just do a vote here. Place an I in the chat if you would be approving a hybrid option for this next council meeting. That would be hosted on the 2nd of February. Post nay if you are against. And abstain if you would like to abstain. All right. Still waiting for one more vote. Daphne, did you want to vote on this, or?
Sorry, I didn't realize it hadn't sent.
You are good. All right, so yeah, I see 5 votes in the affirmative and 2 in the negative, so it clearly passes that a majority of StudEx would be in favor of having a hybrid option available for those council meetings. Let's see, Naya?
I was just gonna say too, like for the council leadership, if for I guess like the in-person option, if you guys want to obviously like take it a step further, and then y'all can encourage like social distancing, and like if you guys want, like we could request like any special, I guess like room arrangements, like if you want like seating to be more distance and things of that nature, we could work to make that happen if you let us know.
Thank you for that, Naya. All right, and next here, we're just going to do a sort of informal vote on whether or not you think that the Students' Assembly meeting that is going to be taking place on the 9th of February should also be in person, or hybrid, sorry. Please vote aye in the chat if you do think it should be hybrid. Chat if you do not think it should be hybrid, and abstain if you would like to abstain. All right. And it looks like we have one vote in the affirmative, 5 votes in the negative, and 1 abstention. So it clearly fails that individuals would want to see a hybrid Students' Assembly session. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay. So we'll most likely look then to have in-person / virtual, the hybrid option for council meetings the week after this one, and then we will look at having a virtual option for the Students' Assembly meeting. I will say like this is not intractable, like changes could occur, but as of right now, this is what I'm seeing as sort of the recommendation from StudEx here. Wesley?
I'm just gonna say I don't think I'm mistaken in this, that it's the power of the like individual councils, executive boards to like go virtual if something happens between here and that meeting. So if something changes or whatever, or if they just don't want to, they can still just go virtual anyway, regardless of this.
I mean, yeah, it's not constitutionally defined at all. Like realistically, like as a chair, you can still like host your meeting virtually, like Emma said here in the chat here. Like this is not to provide a parameter and say that you no longer have any independence in how your meetings go. This is just sort of to make sure that we have a homogeneous experience across Student Senate for these meetings. So if it's a situation, for example, that social justice wants to go virtual, it just needs to be advertised to like all social justice members that that council meeting will be held virtually. Vice versa, if rights would like to hold a meeting that is hybrid, they can advertise that as well. And so it's just a matter of like what your council leadership would like to do for those meetings and what you email out to your members, in the same way that I will be deciding what happens for the Students' Assembly meeting on that next Wednesday. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, thank you. I was just making sure that it was my understanding that that was fully within their power to like do that.
Yeah. This is really just to sort of come to a consensus on what we're all thinking. The consensus on the council one was obviously like a bit more divided than the Students' Assembly one here, but nonetheless, we now sort of know where we're sitting at in regards to like having these meetings for cycle 9. With that, is there any other pressing business that needs to be brought to the attention of StudEx and or announcements?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, Leslie, I see your motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Camden. All right. Is there anyone in opposition to this action? All right. Seeing none, I will say this meeting is officially adjourned. Go ahead and stop the stream.